Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. And we are excited to have you with us as we explore the transformative world of ALX and the programs that are shaping the future of professionals across various industries. We are honored to be joined by a distinguished panel of ALX program managers, technical mentors, operations specialists, and learner and community support experts. Together, they will offer invaluable insight into the design and the impact of our programs, providing a unique opportunity to hear directly from the people who are hands-on in shaping the courses that are transforming careers. As the job market evolves, the 21st century skills are more essential than ever for employers across various sectors. During this section, you will hear about the practical operations of our training, explore the career opportunities of our programs, and discover the real-world impact that ALX graduates are making in their fields. Whether you're just beginning your professional journey or you're looking to elevate your skills, this session will offer valuable guidance on how ALX programs can help you take your career to the next big step. But before we get into everything, I would like to hear from our guests today, starting with you, Rumbi. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us more about yourself, your role, and the program that you are part of?
Thank you so much for having me, Nhlanhla. My name is Rumbi Dzai, of course, for those who know the real name. And I'm from Zimbabwe. I live in Botswana, and I manage the ACE program. That's what I do on a daily basis.
Wonderful. Awesome. So what is the core focus of the ACE program? Who is it designed for?
So the ACE program is designed for anyone who's African between the ages of 18 to 34, and you have to be somebody who's interested in knowing how to use AI, that is artificial intelligence, to actually to leverage it and grow your own career. So we want people who you might not have work experience, like robust work experience, but you want to know how do you get ahead and what are the tools that you can use, technological tools. It's not for people who are tech experts like coders and stuff like that. It's for everyone. That's what ACE is mainly for.
I really like that. The course is for everyone. I can't wait to deep dive into what ACE entails. Tafadzwa, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us more about yourself, your role, and what the program you are part of?
All right. So my name is Tafadzwa, and I'm part of the Professional Foundations team as the Learning Support Associate. And I live and work in Harare, Zimbabwe. So I'm going to talk about Professional Foundations, and I'm excited to be here to talk about it. It's for young professionals who are looking to upskilling, like if you're interested in upskilling and trying to be your best in the tech world or in the tech specialization, Professional Foundations is for you.
Wonderful. We're going to deep dive into professional foundations as we go along. Messi, Miss Candy, how are you today? Please let us know about yourself, the role that you hold here at ALX, and what program you are part of.
Right. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you for having me here. Hi, everybody. My name is Mercy Kendi. I live in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm the Program Operations Associate for the Virtual Assistant. Yeah, good to be here.
Wonderful. So can you tell us more about the program that you are part of? What is the core focus of it and who is it designed for?
Yeah, so the virtual assistant program is ideally for anyone who wants to either upskill, get a promotion at work, or if you want to get into the remote job ecosystem. So if you want to just learn what it all takes to be in a remote job, what are the skills that you need, what are the tools that you need to actually grow as you get into the job market, VA program is for you.
Wonderful. The VA program has been doing wonders this year, and kudos to you and your team for pushing through and making sure that you offer this available program for everyone. Mona, hi, how are you? Can you please introduce yourself, your role, and what program you are part of?
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay, for having me here. I am very excited. So, my name is Mona Wahito, and I am the Learner and Support Associate for the AWS course. So, let me start where I'm asked. What is AWS? Or rather, if you heard what is AWS, what I like to do is give an example. You're a government office, you collect a lot of data. So that means you have, I think every other government has that office where it's a very hot room with very hot servers, and there's an IT guy who's just meant, his work is just meant to switch on and off the server. Whenever things are not working, he's just to just switch it on and off and then tell you it's gonna work. Or when you're trying to access a government service, but then the website tells you, no, we are down or traffic is too much. That's where AWS comes in, because why would you go through the stress of having those kind of servers, yet you can rent that? You can rent, I call it cloud space or cloud storage. So AWS is all about cloud computing. And that's what we are here to tell you about cloud computing.
What a wonderful intro into the world of AWS. I like how you explained it, just because for myself, it's like, what is this cloud thing? What is it for? Thank you for sharing that. Rita, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us more about yourself, the role that you hold here at ALX, and the program that you are part of?
Thank you so much, Jay. Hi, everyone. My name is Rita Wambui. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya, same as Miss Kendi. And I am the Program Operations Specialist for the Salesforce program here at ALX. Jay can go on and share a little bit more about Salesforce, because I know some of us apply and then we're like, oh my God, what is Salesforce? And then you get shocked when you see when you get your first lecture. So Salesforce is a CRM. A CRM is a customer relationship management tool, and it's actually the #1 CRM worldwide. So pretty exciting. And that's one of the reasons why we are training our learners in Salesforce, so they can learn how to manage customers in different businesses. So think about something like Adidas. You want to purchase something in Adidas, and the first time you go onto the website, you put your details, and then you're like, oh, it's too expensive. I need to save up for that shoe. And then you come back later. You don't need to refill your details again, tell them you want a certain shoe again. You'll just find that they're continually targeting you, and that's possible because of Salesforce. And in case you don't know, Adidas actually uses Salesforce. So that's not a fake example. Thank you, Jay, so much. I'll go back to you.
Awesome. I would love, for one of our graduates to be part of like the whole Adidas ecosystem. That would be very nice. Very good story there. Now moving on to Bumi. Bumi, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us more about yourself, your role, what program you're part of, and also just, tell us a bit more about the data science, program, and who is it designed for?
Yeah, thank you, Jane. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Bumi, and I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm the Learning Program Manager for the ALX Data Science program. So my role typically involves creating impactful learning experiences and supporting our learners as they navigate through one of the most exciting, of course, a very transformative field in the world today, that's data science. And one of the core focus of our program, data science program, is typically to equip learners with the skills, and not just skills alone. We also do work on your mindset, and what that entails is everything that is required to solve real-world problems using data. And our program is typically designed to be, hands-on. It's project-based, and that is just typically to ensure that our learners understand not just the theoretical aspect of things, but they can also apply data science tools and techniques, in meaningful ways. So we are targeting ambitious individuals, anyone that's passionate about technology, you're eager to transform industries, and you're motivated really to, create impact through data-driven decision-making. And yes, I'm really excited to be here to share more about the data science program. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Bumi. Lakon, thank you so much for joining us. Please also tell us more about yourself, your role, the program you're part of, and what is the core focus of the program, and who is it designed for?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jay. Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here. So yeah, I'm Laikun. I'm primarily based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. I'm a technical mentor to the ALX software engineering program. And I've been in this position for about 2 years, give or take. Our software engineering program definitely has been evolving for the last 2 years to accommodate interests of learners, starting with a 12 months rigorous training program that begins with the fundamentals of computer science and adding on top of that a 3 months introduction to software engineering programs for those that are complete beginners. In addition to that, we have also evolved to also include cohorts that take professional foundations first before they join the 12 months program. We've got 2 cohorts that are currently intending that. And lately we started with a short-term programs that significantly focus on specialization tracks for back-end engineering and front-end engineering. Predominantly, our program focuses on training young African youth with the relevant web development and computer science skills. As the communities around the world are continuously evolving and embracing technology, well, basically in their day-to-day lives, our program seeks to close that deficit of technical expertise, especially in terms of computer science. So really excited to be talking about our program here also today.
Thank you so much for sharing such an insightful, detailed response in terms of the world of SE. We come here to hear more about that. Last but not least, Jane, thank you for joining us. Please tell us more about yourself, your role, and the program you are part of.
All right. Thanks so much, Jay, for having me today. So my name is Jane Nobel, and I'm the Community Associate for the Data Analytics programs in ALX. So on my day-to-day, I deal with the community side of things and just help the DA learners. Okay, so I think I will take you a little bit deeper on what I think when you hear that data analytics is more of data. So we have data everywhere. We have data, like for example, if you registered for this webinar today, that is your data was collected. So there's so much going on about data. So who is data? Who is this course meant for? The data analytics course at ALX. So for anybody who wants to learn a new technical skills, then the data analytics program is meant for you. If you're also somebody who probably have this technical skill, but you feel like you need to improve on the skills that you have, then again, the data analytics program is meant for you. And then you still also have these people who are just eager to help solve the real world problems. Again, we have projects in the data analytics program that just help you solve these real world problems. We really have exciting stories behind this data that helps you every single day to solve the real world problems. And then again, you do not need any experience to join the data analytics program. So it's beginner friendly and we mostly focus on Google Sheets, Power BI, and then visualization. So it's such a beautiful program. And yes, I'm happy to talk more about it today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Jane. So I want to shift the conversation a bit. Bumi, you mentioned, practical learning, hands-on learning, which is one of the biggest things we are known for here at ALX. So I want to hear from you. What practical applications can learners expect to engage during their training?
Yeah, absolutely happy to walk us through and take us down there. So the way the data science program has been designed, we have an amazing design that's, is hands-on oriented, it's project-based oriented. I mean, speaking of reward applications right from the get-go, right from the start. And to be more specific, our learners start getting to learn everything around data cleaning, everything around analysis, even down to actually building predictive models and, visualizing complex data. I mean, there's a particular module they get to where they start learning. So we take them from, from zero to hero, something like that. And some of the key projects that our learners, at the end of the day get to work on as they walk through, as they experience the program. Think of things like creating dashboards to, track business metrics. They also get to analyze large data sets. I mean, very large data sets. Because we want to prepare our learners, for the real world out there. We want to prepare them to be job ready. We want to prepare them to be, to be able to join the workforce. So they get to start working on data sets that are typically what they would encounter, out there in the real world of work. And that is basically to uncover hidden trends and even going deep dive into things around machine learning algorithms to make data-driven predictions. And all of these projects that our learners have to go through from every modules, from one module to the other, usually reflect challenges from various industries. And what is more exciting is the fact that they get to deep dive into big problems like the Sustainable Development Goals, they are mandated to solve. So learners actually gain exposure to how data science is applied across different sectors. We've had learners, finding their ikigai, sort of saying things like, oh, they would like to actually use this skill set to effect changes in education industry, in agriculture, in healthcare, and so on and so forth. So by the end of the program, they are not only just learning data science as a skill, they're actually doing data science with, hands-on experience that, directly translates to the real world. Cool.
I like that. Thank you so much. I love how data science is so diverse. You can do so many things. You don't just have to focus on one field. Someone in the comments was mentioning that they love the diversity here, and I have to agree with them because it is so nice to work in an organization where there are people who are, from across the globe. So this is amazing. And also just to remind everyone who's watching right now, if you have any questions for our guest, please don't be shy, ask through. We're going to make sure that your questions can get answered. Now, moving on to Rita, the world of Salesforce. What practical applications can learners expect to engage with during their training?
Thank you so much, Jay. And that's a fantastic question. So the Salesforce program has practicality from the get-go, right? So once learners get into the program, we segment them into what we call squads, so different groupings based on their location. And then what we do with these squads is we give them a hands-on project. So they get to work for a company known as Allied Kicks. That's a virtual, that's not a real company, it's just our creation. But the problems that they're solving for Allied Kicks are problems that are real world problems and problems that can be solved using Salesforce as a CRM. So what happens is during the entirety of the program, they get to work from they get to work on hands-on project from like hands-on project 1. So they solve like a foundational level problem that enables them to practice what they've learned, for example, in the first 2 to 3 weeks. And then they get another hands-on project that is building upon what they initially worked on, and so forth and so on until they complete the program. So the different, as they solve the different problems for Allied Kicks, what happens is that our technical mentors come in and these learners present their solution, and the technical mentors get to hear what they talked about, how they discussed solving it, and then guides them on maybe there's a better way to do this, or tells them this is actually an excellent way to do this. And then they also challenge them to think about what are the different ways that you can adjust your solution if this problem were to shift in this way or that way. So those are the different ways that we make sure there's practicality. And also in terms of just bringing in people who have used Salesforce, whether as employed people, so they work for companies that are using Salesforce, or people who have decided to be consultants in Salesforce. So they build solutions for companies. So we bring those people in so that they can also show our learners the practical aspect of Salesforce. So let's just say that even as you're learning all of these things and you're doing all of these things hands-on, we are not only focused on making you employable in the sense of going out and applying for a job. There's also the aspect of enabling you to actually use Salesforce as a consultant and not necessarily be seeking employment, but enabling you to be self-employed. So that's how the program would empower you in that way and enabling you to get those hands-on experience. Thank you, Jay.
I really like that. I like that because, sometimes the job market is difficult and you don't know what you want to do. So with the skills that you're learning from Salesforce, you can do something on your side. And we have come across, different graduates who are independently working as Salesforce consultants or specialists. And it's so great to see that. So Mona, also just a question for you as well in terms of the practical skills. What are the applications that learners can expect when they engage with the program during their training?
Thank you, Jen. So for AWS, how it's designed, first of all, it's designed into 2 tracks, where you start with the foundational track that is called a cloud computing track, and then you move to the solutions architecture track. So what we do, or rather what we introduce in both of them, something called labs. Labs is where you practice on the go. As you learn, you have probably learned how to, let's say, auto scale. I'm going to give you an example. Netflix uses AWS, so Netflix gets traffic, and it's never the same at any given time. So in the morning, I would say, let me give it percentages. In the morning, they got 10% traffic. It's now noon, they're getting 100% traffic or 80% traffic. What you need to do is how to learn how to scale the AWS computing power for you to, let's say, manage that traffic. So we're going to give you hands-on experience on how to do such kind of things. Again, there are these things that we call real-world architectural problems, where you have this actual things that you need to solve. We will tell you, this is a cafe, these are their needs, these are their cloud computing needs. Create an architectural diagram for them. Or rather, tell them how they can go into renting cloud space and how they can make their job, or rather their work, more efficient to do that. And then we do have technical mentors who are going to guide you step by step in doing that. So by the time you're done, you can as well as, be a cloud consultant. You can just stand and tell people, see that server, you can tell your government, you see those servers, we can do something with those servers, So it's basically you gaining hands-on experience on how to do things in AWS.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Lakon, same question. What practical applications can learners expect from the SE program during their training?
Yeah, thanks, Jay. So in the software engineering program, as I mentioned previously, we used to start with a 12-month program initially, where it included a predominantly lower level programming language training, and upping that to higher level languages like Python, and then scaling it to web services and that kind of stuff. So when the learners start, they would begin previously with learning the C programming language, just to get them up and running with data structures and algorithms, because the lower you go with the languages, then you get to understand how the computer science concept actually works, right? So we used to start with those, and then further give them projects. So the whole program is project-based. There are no teachers. You'll be provided with a project every day or every 2 days, depending upon the previous project's length. And then you get to do that project. And we would provide you with some links on how to understand those concepts and how to do those projects. And you would be scored by the deadline, right? So the learners would join the Discord community. Previously used to be Slack community. So now we've switched it to Discord, and there are peer learning sessions that will be set up by the learners themselves. So they can have sessions with one another and learn about concepts. So the first 9 months used to be foundation stuff. So we would teach them everything to know about full stack development. So that would include front end as well as back end, but it would be predominantly foundational concepts. And then the last 3 months would be specializing into one path, which would be the back end and the front end specialization tracks. And that's when they would choose and they would specialize on one path. But when they finish, we would give them a certificate that says a full stack developer, because they already learned a lot about full stack development within the first 9 months, right? So by the end of the program, we expect the learners to find and learn concepts that they want to without anyone's help, which is going to be very useful when it comes to the work environment, because you would be invited with lots of problems, especially in the software engineering world. That's something you wouldn't know about, right? So they would be well trained into how to get relevant information, because there are really no teachers. It's just only projects. And then basically what we say, I'm a technical mentor, and when they ask questions, the first response I would give them is, have you Googled it, right? So we would expect them to have that skill. In addition to that, community skills and asking questions. Our software engineering is like, you'd never stop learning while you're also doing the job. So they have to know how to ask questions and who to ask questions, and to reach out to, right? So by the end, they should have all of these skills and ready to go into the job market.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Laikum. And then Messi, same question. What are the practical applications can learners expect to engage during their training?
Thank you so much for that. I think while listening to my fellow colleagues, I've realized there's so many things that are very similar. I'm going to start with what Clayton said. Most of what we give learners is, first of all, community, a way to support you. But before we actually support you, you have to ask, have you Googled stuff? So have you gone through the school of Google as well? Are you doing what you're supposed to do on your part to keep on learning? But so as we get into VA and the practicality of it, one question I would like for us to think about is, think about the traditional office. You know, when you have to go to work in an office, what is required? You need somebody at the front desk to welcome you. You need, if you want to see the manager or someone else, you have to go through the PA or the secretary. Ideally, what a VA is teaching you is how to transform that office that is physical to being on your laptop or your desktop, whatever you're working on. So what that means is VA is not only about being a personal assistant, because the first thing that people think about when they hear virtual assistant is you have to be a personal assistant to someone. Yes, that is something that you can do, but it's very wide. You can do other things. You can niche in other areas in that same company that you're talking about, that office. So there's so many projects that you're going to be able to do. How we've structured our system or our program is, you have every week you have a milestone to submit. That milestone is connected to a skill or a task that you have to do in real life. For example, if you the personal assistant, in this case for Jay, our very amazing host, he's a very busy man who needs to travel. So he has needs. You have to have an itinerary. You have to, book his flights, look at his passport, his visa, all these things. You learn how to do that. You actually create a whole plan for yourself, which we jokingly say around VA that you are planning for your own vacation. So just think of it like that, because you actually have to plan. You have to book it. Just get photos of all that. You get that skill, submit that. The other thing that you get to do as well is project management. I know most people would think, but project management is a whole different thing. Trust you me, being a program associate, I did the VA course, and I don't necessarily call myself a virtual assistant. I'm in a different, in this case, job. So you're not tied to one thing. You get to learn so many skills. Project management, you have an assignment on that you have to submit at the end of each and every week. You're taught so many soft skills that you're gonna borrow from other programs as well. You also have to get into data research, data visualization, which is also something I've had Bumi talk about. So VA really is supposed to help you strengthen your skills. If you don't have them, start, right? So that it gives you that stepping ground so that you can now grow to the next thing that you want to get. So there's a lot of practical examples and like really milestones that you will do and that actually can be used in your portfolio when you're looking for jobs. Back to you, Jay.
Wonderful. I have heard so many stories about the itinerary project or a learning training. That is very interesting. But I'm just gonna say, if you are interested in VA, apply. You are gonna find out it's very, very interesting. Moving on to Safadwa, same question for you. What are the practical applications can learners expect to engage with during their training?
Okay, so learners are you can actually expect quite a lot from Professional Foundation, and it's all linked to some of the programs that we are offering. It's all linked to data analytics, it's all linked to Salesforce, AWS. So, I mean, when you talk about Professional Foundations, we are talking about building soft skills. So a lot of our technical skills here at ALX, in fact, a lot of our courses that we offer at ALX are more technical. And with Professional Foundations, we are actually offering more like soft skills. So this is where, this is why we call Professional Foundations the secret sauce of ALX, right? So we're saying that it's not just about technical skills, but it's also about the soft skills. Technical skills is one part of the puzzle, and soft skills is another. So when we are in Professional Foundations, it's an 8-week program, and during that 8-week program, you're actually focusing on leading self. That is, you get to know yourself, what kind of person you are. You get to understand yourself. So, like in week 1, you get to be introduced to the skills tracker. And this skills tracker, you get to see where you are at and where you can improve, like the skills that you have and what you need to do. During the course of the period, during that 8 weeks, you'll be looking at this skills tracker and seeing where you're going ahead, where you're moving ahead, and where you're actually improving, and where you need to start to focus more so that you can improve on those things. So that at the end of the 8 weeks, you're excelling. You're like, oh my gosh, this is me. I'm so proud of myself, right? So we're talking about leading self and leading others. A lot of workspaces, when you're in a workspace, you don't work by yourself. So I see, I think it's Rita. Rita was talking about being a consultant. In fact, most of those technical courses, they talk about being a consultant. You're not working by yourself. You're working with other people with different personalities, different skill sets. You have to know how to lead others. And you also need to know how to communicate for impact. So I just thought that it was interesting because was it Mona who talked about, having an idea that, have those servers in cloud computing, right? You have to know how to communicate that idea to different people, to stakeholders, to different clients. If you're a consultant, you have to know how to communicate for impact. So this is something also that we touch on in foundations. Yeah, we touch on quantitative reasoning. We touch on entrepreneurial thinking. Exactly, this also applies to when you're a consultant. You have to be entrepreneurial, right? Critical thinking, managing complex tasks, and tech skills. So, I'm just going to give a little bit of examples here. Let's just think about, if you're data analytics, right? If you're in data, you're data scientist, you crunch those numbers and spot those trends like a pro. But what happens when you need to present your findings to stakeholders who aren't technical? You need those communication skills from Professional Foundations so that you're able to explain complex data in a way that's clear and compelling. Or even if you're in, front end, back end software engineering, you get to work with different people. You get to work with designers, product managers, and different clients. You have to know how to collaborate and problem solve, and you get to learn this in Professional Foundations. So you pretty much have to know how to navigate feedback, how to resolve conflicts, and ensuring smooth teamwork. So you know what? A lot of professional foundations is hands-on, right? A lot of our technical skills is hands-on. But when we say it's hands-on for professional foundations, what we do is we have peer groups, we have peer sessions, so that you know how to collaborate with other people, so that you know how to actually work in teams with other people, so that you know how to problem solve with other people. Also have group projects. So all of the skills you do get to apply, and we have scenarios where you actually get to apply all of the skills. So yeah, I mean, it's just so vast and just so interesting. And when I talk about soft skills, I just get excited. I could actually take the whole session and talk about soft skills and how it's applicable in this world. But yeah.
I love that. I think soft skills are very, very important. We've met graduates as well as the brand team who have been talking about how valuable professional foundations has been for them. You know, these are people who have background in traditional universities, but there was something lacking for them. They felt like it was missing. And, you know, when they came across professional foundations, it just clicked. You know, they've learned everything that they wanted to learn, and they're thriving in their careers and, you know, in their different industries. Rumbi, same question for you. What are the practical applications can learners in ACE expect to engage with during their training?
All right. So ACE is 6 weeks of learning, right? And then we have 1 week for you to catch up and complete milestones and tests, and then the other week to graduate. So total, it's 8 weeks that you spend with us, and it's a fun-filled and very insightful, I would say, as our learners have said and our graduates have said, life-changing 8 weeks. So a lot of people come into ACE asking themselves, "Oh, is this about robots? Are the robots going to take my job?" You know, type of thing. But then in week one, what we do is we understand more about AI. And why I'm saying this as well is because I recently enrolled in ACE, and I'm taking ACE in this cohort. So the first thing that we do in the first week is understand what is AI, what are the practical applications, what are the use cases, how is it even made, like where are these things functioning from, you know. We get to understand all of that. And then the second week, we're still playing around with AI, discovering tools slowly. And then in the third week, it's just like, boom, you're dropped and things get serious. We still support you, of course. We've got a robust community experience. We've got guest speakers coming in, talking to you about practical applications of AI. We're actually having a conversation with the Vice President of Legal here at Sen Technologies, talking about AI and law. And then, you know, the other time we're talking about data science and AI, things like that, and hiring and AI. So we've got all that on the community side. So on the learning side, now in the third week, you will learn how to actually collaborate with AI. That's what we say. We collaborate with AI. You actually use AI tools to craft your resume or your CV, you know, something that actually lands you a job. You get to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and then you get to see how AI can enable career development for you. So this is actually I think for me, it would be the best week. We haven't gotten today in my cohort, but I think this will be the best week because you get to develop yourself as a professional and be ready to go out there. Now, in week 4, where we go is you learn how to use AI to communicate, you know, use AI to improve the persuasiveness of your writing, your presentations. You use AI, you work with AI. AI is now, like, at this point, week 4, halfway done, your friend, right? So you learn to use AI to solve problems, and then get to week 5 now. Week 5, where it's titled, you know, becoming a superhero at work. Like I said again before, any type of person. You can be in the agricultural field, you can be unemployed, you can be a student. ACE is the perfect course for you. So you learn how to become a superhero at work, and prepare yourself to actually, you know, your CV is ready. So eventually you definitely get a job if you're somebody who's unemployed. So In week 5, you learn how to use AI assistants in your daily work so that you can actually be more productive. You'll be one of those people that people are like, how does she do this? How does she, how does he do all of these things? Because you have your integrated AI assistants, and we use free tools. You don't have to download anything, you don't have to pay for anything. So this course gives you access to that. It's for, I think it's maybe, I would say, for high performers. And then you get to use AI to see patterns. We do a little bit of data as well to make decisions. And then in week 6 is for my entrepreneurs. If you're African, you definitely have to be entrepreneurial. There's no two ways about it, because there are so many challenges and opportunities in our field, in our communities every single day. So week 6, you get to learn how to actually generate real innovative business ideas. You get to learn how you can expand your business, and then get into the world of entrepreneurship. You create your brand strategy, your brand will become visible, and then you also reflect on everything that you've learned so far. So you also get to create things as well. Every week you've got a test, which is like something that you submit as you are working on all these elements. For example, in week 3, that's your CV, your LinkedIn profile. You submit all of those things, and then a test as well to just check maybe 5 questions to 10 questions. Very simple stuff, but very, very powerful ultimately. So that's who ACE is for, and that's what you'll be looking at in the AI Career Essentials program. Back to you, Nhlanhla.
Wow, wonderful. I like how the ACE program, I mean, I think everyone can agree that AI is taking over. Well, not everything, but AI is becoming the most important, part of our lives and how we function and how we work. And I like the fact that, the ACE program basically brings everything down. You explain, you train people to fully understand what AI is, the legal side of it, anything actually that that people need to know around AI. So thank you so much for sharing, Rumbi. And then now I want to ask another question. So a quick one, actually. Sorry. There is a question on the chat that is asking up around the timelines of our programs. I know some people have mentioned, what the timelines are. So Fado, you mentioned that the professional foundations is about 8 weeks. Rumbi, you just mentioned that, the ACE program is about 6 weeks. Jane, I just want to hear from you. How long is the data analytics program?
All right. So once you're done with the foundations program, once you get to the data analytics, it takes 3 months. So this 3 months is like 13 weeks of the journey. So every single week we have assessments going on and all that. So it takes 3 months.
Wonderful, thank you. And then same question to you, Rita. The Salesforce program, how long is it, and what is the timeline?
All right, so the Salesforce program takes you approximately 20 weeks to complete. So we start with the foundational Salesforce associate. So once you do the Salesforce associate, which is 6 weeks long, so 4 weeks of learning, 1 week of exams, and then 1 week of recess, you transition to the admin track. So the Salesforce administrator one, which takes you 14 weeks. So by the time you're done with both, you would have gotten your 2 certifications, one in Salesforce Associate and then the other one as a Salesforce Administrator.
Wonderful, thank you. And then same question for you, Bumi. What is the length of the program and how long does it last?
Yeah, so just before I speak, guys, don't get turned off by the length of data science program, and I'll tell you why. Some of my colleagues here are already laughing about that. So the data science program actually lasts for 13 months. And yes, just chill. Here is the breakdown. So for this 13 months, right, has actually been divided into various sprints. Think of it as marathon race, hurdle, and sprint. And the beauty is that for each of the sprints, starting with the sprint where you get to learn how to really be a problem solver, because that is the foundation of data science. That is the foundation of data analytics. You're just there to solve business problems, right? So we have a sprint that just focuses on that, which is the beginning. So that takes plus or minus around 2 weeks to complete, and then you move on to another part where you get to become you become a data cleaner. You can clean data. That's the data cleaning sprint. And once you move from that sprint, you move on to the next sprint. So moving from one sprint to the other, you're actually honing a skill set that you can actually specialize in. So that is a bonus there, and that is something you should know. So it's not like 13 months, at the end of 13 months, you just become a data science, but within that 13 months, you become a specialist in SQL, you become a specialist in a particular aspect of data science, data cleaning, data visualization and storytelling, machine learning, natural language processing, where you start, learning how to, build predictive modelings and all. So I just thought I should let you guys know, because I know when we say 13 months, most people get turned off, but that is what, that encompasses, and that is what, you carry home within that 13 months. Jay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Bumi. Same question for you, Lakum. What is the length of the SE program? Yeah.
Thanks, Jay. So if you remember, initially I mentioned that the program has evolved to actually accommodate learner requirements. So currently we have two specific programs, which are going to be 6 months, including the 8-week ALX Foundation Leadership and Soft Skills training. So we have front-end and back-end engineering specializations for SE. So cohorts are currently currently doing those projects, and it should probably take like 6 months. Previously, in the 12 months program, which we will be discontinuing after the end of this year, the last 3 months were the specialization phases for backend and front end, but now we've separated those two to be individual programs, and they will take about six months.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then Miss Candy as well, can you please tell us more how long the VA program is, and just a bit more about the length of it?
Yeah. So the VA program is just almost like the same as professional foundations. We are 8 weeks long. Then we have 1 week for grace periods, just like ACE, where you get to catch up if you have any missing or pending milestones or tests. And then week 10 is the graduation. So you start, it's pretty light, but very impactful. I know, unlike ACE, our hours requirements are a little bit more. And no, ACE maybe allows you can do it, you can use 10 weeks, or actually 10 hours per week, sorry. But for VA, we actually ask you to commit 30 to 40 hours per week so that you can go through the content. So it's pretty packed, but it is worth it. Right now, I know it's something that Jay mentioned. We have graduated more than 40K learners in a span of 3 months. So if other people can do it, you can do it as well. So do not give up. Those 8 weeks will fly by so fast you won't even realize. Back to you, Jay.
Wonderful. And then last but not least, Mona, can you tell us more about, not tell us more, but like the length of the AWS program?
All right, for the AWS program, like I said, it's usually 2 certifications. You start with the foundational level, and you go to the associate level. So in total, it takes 23 weeks to finish. That is approximately 6 months, with the first 8 weeks fully dedicated to the fast track, and then the rest 14 weeks dedicated to the other associate track. Of course, we do have catch-up weeks to help you catch up with the content and practice more, but by and large, 23 weeks, 6 months.
Wonderful, thank you. Just a quick question for you, Jane. Can you please tell us more about the practical applications that learners can expect from the data analytics program during their training?
All right, thanks so much, Jay, and I'm happy to take that. So for the data analytics course, like I'd said earlier, it takes 3 months. So this 3 months is 13 weeks. And during these 13 weeks, again, we really get our hands dirty. So first of all, the first thing that you have to do, we do this program in an LMS called the Athena. So the first week you get onboarded in Athena, you get to know how to use the platform. It's such a beautiful place, and then just be able to navigate it and all that. And then once you get through that, once we're done with that, we have 4 modules. So we have the Explore 101 content, which deals with flowcharts and pseudocode. So you get to see all these beautiful things. So when you talk of flowcharts and pseudocodes, it's just like words but written in diagrams. So it's so easy for anybody else out there to understand. And then once you're done with the flowcharts and all that, we get to prepare the data. So we don't allow you to collect the data, but we give you the data that you're going to use. So you're gonna prepare this data, and then you're gonna get to analyze the data and be able to solve this particular problem. So once you have your hands dirty and you've collected the data, you've prepared the data, then now you get to have something called the SQL. The SQL, you get to install the workbench and all this, and then you're able to now query your data, analyze the data nicely, because now this is now big data side of things. So apart from just after preparing the data, you now get to analyze data in a big way using the SQL, okay? So after we are also done with the data, what do you do with this data? You have to present it out to the team. So when you present it out to other people to see, we now bring in the visualization. So you get to visualize data, and then here we come with something called like the Power BI. So you get to use Power BI to just know how to present your data, and then it's so beautiful, and anybody else who is not also, who doesn't know anything about data can be able to relate to what you're saying because of visualization. So once you're done with that, you get to graduate. So yeah, and then again, a beautiful thing about the data analytics program is that our pass rates are also very high, and you get to get your hands dirty. We have real world problems, and then we have a very beautiful story behind it. We solve the Majindogo problem. So if you know the word Majindogo, it's just help people to solve world's problem about water. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Jane. I'm loving the numbers that people are dropping here, like 40K graduates, a very good number of people who are doing incredible in their program. So I really, really love this. So everybody has shared incredible things about the programs. So now here we are, people are joining us and they're considering joining ALX and they don't know how to go about it. Rita, I want to start with you. What are the final words of advice would you give someone who is considering joining the Salesforce program, or just ALX in general?
I think I'll start with Salesforce before talking about ALX. I think one of the things that we've seen with some of our learners as they go through foundations and are trying to think about, okay, apply to Salesforce, what is Salesforce, and all of these things. I think the first thing I would advise you is to do research so that you understand what you are getting into, the program that you're getting into, the commitment level that is required of you, and then what are the different career trajectories you can take as a result of getting your certifications. I would also definitely advise that you think about break down what you find, because sometimes you find that the content out there might make you feel like Salesforce is so hard, Salesforce is complex, what is this thing? Break it down to a child level. The simple things that you interact with daily, some of them are as a result of Salesforce. When you go to your Instagram and you find Adidas is constantly, you always find a marketing ad from Adidas. It's simply because you went onto their platform, they captured your details. This is Salesforce that is doing that. Then they're able to continually market to you. You went to a hospital, you shared your details. Next time you go, the doctor says, there's a record of ABCD that happened, and I am able to treat you better because of this. So remove the narrative of this big thing that I need to understand and learn, and just think about what are the simple and real things that Salesforce enables you to do. And then I'll think about what problems do you want to solve with Salesforce. And then from there, you're actually able to make an informed decision of, I want to pursue Salesforce because I want to improve a customer experience, or I want to improve, say, marketing for my company, or I want to increase the level of sales that we are making. So really try to break that down because it helps you understand it better. And then, of course, now you've understood what is needed of you, because there are drop-offs or there are situations where you will not be able to proceed beyond a certain point, which means that as you come in, there's a commitment level that is needed so that you move from just learning on the first day to actually graduating. And we actually have learners who are graduating next week. So to get there, there's very high level of commitment needed. And generally just for ALX, when they say hashtag do hard things, it's really true. We don't joke. And it cuts across the program and even us as people who are managing the programs. Hard things are done across board by learners and staff. So really just embrace it, because it's really just a beautiful thing to understand that even as you're doing hard things, the people who are delivering the programs are doing those hard things together with you. Thank you, Jane.
Indeed. Thank you so much for sharing, Rita. Rumbi, any advice you have for our viewers who want to join the ACE program?
So, fun fact actually that I didn't mention before is that ACE was curated by ALX. So, not only do we have partnerships like AWS, Salesforce, but we also make courses that are relevant and curated for you as an African. You know, even if you're an African who wants to work abroad, but we still understand your context and we still have that deep belief or like belief in you and we want to see you thrive. So, ACE is definitely a course for people who are ready for more, whether you're working, whether you're not working, whether you are in school, you definitely get here and you get empowered. And I know that there is a worry that, oh, what if tomorrow that AI tool is not there or whatever. But once you understand and have those basics, then you can get to understand any other tool and get comfortable using AI and collaborating with it so that you can actually go higher in your career or even your business, as we outlined before. So come on over, guys.
Come on over to ACE. I really love that. Jane, any advice for our learners or our prospective learners who want to join the data analytics program?
All right, thanks, Jay. I think for anybody who wants to join the DA program, I can say that analytics is underrated, because anytime people hear that it is beginner friendly and all this, they tend to think, oh, would I go to data science and all this? But I can tell you for sure that there is so much that you can do with data analytics. There is so much that you can do with Google Sheet. There's so much you can do with SQL before you get even into the data science program. So however much it is beginner friendly, you're able to do so much with it. And it also teaches you to think critically. It helps you to be able to solve these big problems. It helps you to be able to tell your story out there. So you're not just creating normal data analysts, but you're also creating problem solvers. So if you're looking for a very good program to come for, please come into data analytics. Also because it doesn't require prerequisite skills for you to begin. So it's beginner friendly, and it helps for anybody who wants to learn any new technical skills or just improve and be one of the problem solvers out there. I think the DA program is one of those programs for you. And also, if you're joining the ALX team, like I can tell you for sure, the community at ALX is super friendly. And just like Rita had said, we actually do hard things. So for the DA program, it takes 15 hours per week. But when you say 15 hours, it is not just 15 hours. You will need to go over and beyond to be that graduate. All right. So I think that's it for the DA. Thanks, Jane.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jane, for sharing. Miss Candy, any advice you have for our people who want to join the VA program?
100%. Yes, Jay, I would be very happy to do that, because I think you've had so many of us and my colleagues talk about Google Sheets, how to use AI. I really want you to think about VA as, you know, a background or a stepping stone to get to where you want to be. You cannot be very good at Google Sheets if you don't even know where Google Sheets is. Where which app is it? Is it under Microsoft? Is it, I don't know, is it under Google? Is it a whole different application by itself? Or is it some magical words that people are using, right? So when we talk about VA, one thing I would like for you to have if you're joining, have an open mindset. We are here to blow your mind, to show you how you can actually create jobs for you, for yourself. We're not here to talk about how you can get into jobs. Yes, you can, but also we're going to show you how to actually create roles for yourself by owning the skills that you're going to learn. Also, do not just rely. I think one thing so many people here, before I even put my points, I've done an ALX program. Every colleague who's here has done an ALX program, either one or even two or even three. I think personally I've done two already, actually three already. And one thing I can tell you for sure is you have to go beyond what you read. We give you the basics, we give you everything that you need to start, but for you to continue, you need to have continuous, learning as a mindset. You have to be open-minded. Ask yourself, what next? What more can I learn? What else can I do apart from the structure that is already set up by people? What else can I do? Do I have to go entrepreneur and create my own company? I know there's a role called program management. What about community leadership? What about, these other titles that actually are coming up? And those are because people actually owned their skills and showed to the job market, this is relevant. And then roles were created to find out, to actually accommodate the skills that you have. So come in ready to be blown, to have your mind blown, for you to learn and to actually put a background on it. As I said, most of us have taken programs, so we are also in the community, and we do hard things. For us to get to even the positions that we're in, we actually did the hard things. We gave back to the community. We showed up. If you were in countries where we have hubs, we showed up for those hubs. We got into meetings where we had to learn from other people, master classes. We helped host those meetings, and by being vocal and being owning our space and just being confident, because that's something you get from the program, then people are able to know, okay, that's someone's application and I want that person to be in my team. So the only way to actually start and be successful, either in our programs or in the community, you have to show up. Just show up, do your best, keep on learning, have an open mindset, and you're gonna make it. Thank you.
I love that. Show up and do your best. I love that. Lakon, any words of advice for anyone who wants to take on the SE program?
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, so the SE program, as I talked about earlier, it covers the front end and the back end specializations. So are you someone that wants to build a web application? Like maybe it could be like for leisure, or for like a business, you want to build a business, or you just want to flex on your friends, like knowing coding stuff. Or maybe in a more serious note, maybe like you want to maybe join prestigious companies like software development companies as a developer. Well, in that case, like the SE program is actually for you. So you can specialize in whichever path you want to, front end or back end. It really doesn't matter nowadays. So yeah, but once you join though, you need to have like some qualities, which is the first and foremost is curiosity. You have to be curious enough and you have to love development, like coding stuff, right? So if you don't have that, then you will be burnt out very easily. And after that, like once you're curious enough, you have to be able to give enough to the program. You need to have like a grit mindset, okay? And be willing to do the hardest possible things ever, right? And the third thing is you cannot do everything. So you need to have humility. You cannot know it all, and you don't have to be afraid to ask and say that you don't understand something, right? That's basically how these are the qualities that you need like to actually persevere inside the program. On the note of like joining like great companies as a developer by going through the ALX program, maybe I can give some example. There's maybe Jay might share this in the chats for the learners, for the people interested. There was a student, David Mutune. He was from Kenya, and he went through the 12 months program. I think it was 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And he finished, but he had like a team of learners. Like they set up like learning days every day. But then like when he finished, he actually got a job opportunity in AWS in Amazon. Currently, he's living in London, and he's a consultant there. right? Previously, he was a junior developer. So there are actually paths for you to basically like persevere in this program. So yeah, you need to have these skill sets: curiosity, the grit mindset, but also humility. Yeah, back to you, Jay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Mona, in the world of AWS, any advice for people who want to join the program?
Yes, yes. I think what every other speaker has said, they have touched on the core things that you need to join most of our courses, because that is exactly what you need. If only I could add one thing, I could only add one thing, the can-do mentality. Because like we said, we do hard things. And for you to be able to do hard things, you have to already accept, or rather tell your mind, I really can do this. You have to make it known to yourself that I have to do this. I can do this. And that's how you will be able to do this. Because it is very true, we do hard things. If we want to be part of the world that powers the world, I say AWS powers the world. I mean, from things like Netflix to shopping, to, the online shopping sites, to mobile apps, to, the sites that we use on a daily, they're all powered by something behind. So if you want to be the power that powers those behind, AWS is the way to go. But the best thing you can do is have that mindset of, I can do it. I can do it, have that mentality, and that will carry you through all the way till the end of it.
I can do it. I love that. Tafazwa, any last words or advice for someone who wants to join the Professional Foundations program?
Yeah, sure, certainly. So I would say that my advice that I have is jump in with both feet. Immerse yourself fully in the learning. There's a lot to learn, and sometimes we tell ourselves that maybe, we already know these things, especially when it comes to soft skills. I already know these things. I just want to get this done with, get my ALX Professional Foundation certificate and move on. But you realize that as you're going through the content, there's so many things that you didn't know that you actually need for you to succeed in your career. So immerse yourself fully, and this is going to transform your character, your career, and expand your horizons. And the other thing that I would say also is networking. You'll have access to a thriving community where you get to network with different people of different industry and professionals. You're going to network with like-minded peers and mentors. Just be proactive, stay curious, and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Make sure you connect with the other peers, make sure you connect with other learners, and you'll be setting up yourself for success once you do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Tafazwa. Last but not least, Bumi, any last words for someone who wants to join the data science world?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, so my advice would be you should note something first, and every outcome, whether it's bad, whether it ends up being bad or it becomes good, actually starts from the mind. So my colleagues have also said a lot of things about your mindset. So coming into the data science program, it starts from the mind. It starts from what outcome do you want to get from it? And I'll tell you guys something, maybe a myth out there that, oh, you need to have statistical background, mathematical background to succeed in data science. I'm not disputing that, right? True, it's an added advantage, but managing this program and having experience majority of our learners, you would be amazed that most of our learners don't have any of this background, but what thing they did have is the mindset to win, the mindset to be ready, the mindset, just like we had Lekon said, to be humble, humility, and not too quick to conclude or giving up, on yourself. We don't promise that it's going to be an easy journey, but one thing we promise, according to one of my colleagues did share here about our community, is the striving community that we have, the supportive community that we have. So while we walk you through, or while you go through all of this journey, right? You are not going to be alone. You're also going to find peers that are just exactly like you, that have the same struggles as you, that have the same pain point as you. So if other learners with zero analytical background, statistical background, could come into data science and succeed and graduate after 13 months. I mean, we have learners with background in business administration, education, even kinesthetics. Like, they wouldn't have imagined that they could actually survive here. But one thing that you coming in with, in this various fields is the fact that you would leverage your strength in domain knowledge of that industry, because data science is a technological skill that you tend to apply in this domain. So it has to do with what domain you want to specialize in. And another thing you should note is that you also want to ensure that you equip yourself with information, be open-minded, be curious, be hungry for knowledge, basically. And I mean, you're going to succeed. If you ask any successful person out there, I don't think they would give you any advice outside of this. They could give you more, but I think these are the core things, about, succeeding in ALX programs. Thank you, Jay.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. What an incredible session. I have learned so much from everyone here. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope this session has given you the valuable insight into the ALX programs and how they are shaping the future of professionals and how they are preparing them to thrive in today's ever-evolving job market. If you're ready to take the next step in your career and explore opportunities that ALX offers, we encourage you to visit our website, alxafrica.com, to learn more and register for our transformative programs. These conversations continues. So make sure that you interact with us on social media. We have an incredible customer support who will answer all your questions. Thank you all again, and thank you to our incredible panel for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone part of our wonderful community. And as we always say, do hard things. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And that is it for me today. Until next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.